welcome to another episode of Between the Pipes with Archie from All Everything Entertainment.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode and perhaps a very crazy busy one of Between the Pipes. I've got Wade Pye with me tonight as co-host. We've got a lot to break down, a lot to talk about here.
Absolutely. We got to get into it, man.
So, not bad, man. Been chasing all day, trying to figure out what's going on. You know, as Leaf fans, we've all been hearing the same names over and over again and some surprises.
You know what? Let's make it typical of the Leafs that, of course, they sign someone the first minute, and then we have to wait all damn day for the second signing. But I guess we'll just jump right into the big one, and that's Wayne Simmonds.
Yeah, actually, you know what? We'll start off with Simmonds. It was kind of expected. They've been talking about him for the last little bit. We were just talking about him. I'm not sure. This definitely answers the more physical play that we needed. I'm not sure to what extent. I have looked up some videos and found that he does love to start fights. He just doesn't really finish many, which kind of worries me. And we were just talking prior to going live. His skating is kind of suspect. I don't know if he looks funny because his equipment is small. He kind of has that Dion Phaneuf look when he's skating. It's like he's too stiff. Like, I don't know, man. What do you think?
Well, I'd say he doesn't have the biggest calf muscles in the world, bud, and probably hasn't been doing his calf raises in the gym so much. But I mean, the guy's a lengthy guy. He always has been. What is he, like 6'4" and change? Maybe 6'5" on skates. Like he's pretty tall. Yeah, he's probably got to be around 100 and, as a 6'4" guy, maybe 190 pounds or so. What's his weight there?
He's at 185.
185. He's a tough guy. He's a Scarborough native. They brew him tough around here, buddy. You know that. We had Chris Stewart, Anthony Stewart, Joel Ward. A lot of the tough guys come out of here. Ryan O'Reilly was here for a bit, but yeah. As far as Wayne Simmonds, I think. In regards to the player he is, I mean, he's had back-to-back 30-goal seasons there, and he's had about 3 seasons with about 30 goals, rounds up to about 50, 55 points in a couple of those years too with Philadelphia. And the guy's been on the injured reserve and stuff the last few years, and he's also been playing for under 500 teams. The guy knows how to play, man. He's fought his whole way through to get to the NHL. He got here. He's been an exciting player. I think he's going to be an exciting player to watch, and I think he's definitely going to step up for the team and bring that aggression and bring that leadership, and he's going to be hard to play against. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now, apparently, Montreal offered him more money today. Bergevin actually came out and flat out said they offered more money, and he said it wasn't about the money. He wanted to come, just like Tavares, wanted to come home and play for the hometown team.
1.5 million for Wayne Simmonds is a great deal. I mean, the guy's coming off a 5-year, 1 year, $5 million deal there, or 2 years, whatever he signed that contract to. But I mean, he was making $5 a year ago, and he needed a contract. You take the deduction to come play for the hometown, and I mean, as much as NHL players would love to play for original 6 teams, and Montreal would like to get bigger as well, because I mean, they are a small team still. They signed Josh Anderson, but that's only one more piece of the puzzle, and that we'll get into that deal later. But
yep.
You know what? I think that any Toronto kid wants to secretly play for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I actually ran into Wayne Simmonds a few times just in Scarborough. I ran into him in the beaches one time at a house party. And I actually went up to him and I said, "Hey man, are you ever going to come and play for the Leafs or what?" And he just went, never. He literally brushed it off like that. He's like, never. And I was like, all right, well, that's too bad. And of course he had like 3 girls like trying to get his digits and everything. He was kind of batting them off and everything. And I was the cool fan that went up because I've always liked Wayne Simmonds, being a Scarborough guy. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll jump into minutes ago. We'll break this right now, but obviously the internet's already buzzing. the Leafs have signed TJ Brody and given him a 4-year, $5 million contract. It works out to $5 million over the 4-year span, 5 a season. Not the defenseman most people thought the Leafs were going to land today. What do you think? Do you think they're done, or do you think there's still more brewing and possibly still the ability of getting Pietrangelo or somebody else?
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, we've addressed the defense little by little. I mean, the Muzzin acquisition. Now we got TJ Brody and I think like the overall plan for Dubas in the beginning and Shanahan was to, break it down, develop all of our players. And I think that when they chose the Sandins and the Liljegren's, that they were really hoping that those first round picks were going to maybe start coming through, especially Liljegren by this point in time. I personally think Sandin's a little ahead of Liljegren. You can say what you want about it, but we can get into that later. TJ Brody, long time Calgary Flame, man. 30 years old guy, right?
Yep, he is 30 years. Yep.
30-year-old guy. He shoots left, but he plays the right-hand side. He's a top 4 guy, man. So I wouldn't put him at a top 2, but he's a 3rd or 4th guy. That definitely helps the Leafs out. If you're going to round it out, I mean, you still want to see another maybe. We're going for a Stanley Cup run. You want to see a 1 or a 2, and I mean Riley is the 1 or 2, and you want to see someone else fill that 1. We're gonna have to let go of some guys if we're gonna get the cap space to sign a Pietrangelo now or another guy that's going to be hard to play against. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like you said, right, he's been in the NHL for a while now, longtime Calgary Flame. He's also another Ontario boy from Chatham, Ontario.
Hey.
He's put up points. He's been averaging, honestly, since 2014, 41 points, 45 points, 36, 32, 34. You know what I mean? Like he's a pretty consistent player.
Yeah.
I love the 2018-19 stat of him being a plus 29. That's huge for a defenseman. So
absolutely.
That's big, especially coming from a team that's always had a bunch of defensemen in the minuses. So, I mean, I think he'll definitely help leverage out and round out that D. I mean, hey, he's no Pietrangelo, but you know what? If it ends up being that this is the guy we add to this core, I feel like with him and some of those young guys coming into the mix, like you said, I believe Sandin is definitely ahead of Liljegren when it comes to developing his play. I do think there's moves still coming. I heard yesterday they were really trying to push moves with Nylander and or Andreas Janssen. If that does happen, that's clearly to move cap, make some room, potentially for another bigger signing. So we still don't know what's going on with Pietrangelo. There's been no word. The rumors are that he may consider going back to St. Louis. I do find that a little weird, though, because last night St. Louis had the opportunity to lock him in for the 8 years. They've missed the deadline, so now at best he'd get a 7-year max deal, which I don't think they'd do anyways. So he's still very much in the mix. I mean, we'll get into some more speculation and trades after this. So we'll start off a little earlier in the week. We had the draft a couple days ago. I mean, you know as well as anybody else, a lot of talk about the Leafs and their pick at number 15. Rodion Amirov. So Russian kid, 6'1", 180. Everybody was freaking out because he was listed under 6 feet. The Leafs made sure to address that today, suggesting those were old statistics. He's actually listed at 6'1", 180. They're calling him a better version of Zach Hyman. What do you think?
It's funny because wherever you heard that they're calling him a better Zach Hyman, I heard as his agent compare him to Kucherov. I mean, he said, "Oh, he could be like the next Kucherov," and then he kind of backpedaled when he said it, and he was like, "No, not like like Kucherov's a very special player, but he has similarities and comparisons." And I was like, "Okay, way to pump up the tires, buddy." But I mean, if that's true, and he is a little bit, I mean, it listed him at 168 pounds or whatever, and 5'11", and or whatever his height was there, and obviously that's the Leafs want to get bigger, man. And I heard the guy has some skill, and I watched a couple of his highlight reels, and yeah, it looks like the guy can play. But at the same time, I just think, we're drafting these smaller our first overalls or our first round picks in the last little while have all been under 6 feet, except for Matthews, of course.
Right.
So the Leafs fan base is just having trouble with it because we're still getting pushed around. Not like in the regular season, but man, the playoffs is just, I mean, we get out muscled, man, and it really shows come playoff time, because that's when other teams start flexing the muscles, man. Hopefully the kid turns out, man. I mean, it's hard to talk about a draft pick right away. Exactly. It's hard. It's, you know what, you can't really get into it. Maybe 2-3 years down the road, the kid is an 80-point, 90-point guy, and he's playing in the NHL somehow, but maybe he's a bust, maybe he's mediocre. We just, we can't get into it and kind of predict. We can only predict, but I can understand why Leaf fans would be a little upset about the size, because I was upset with the size when I heard it.
Yep.
And, but it was a 50-50. People were saying, oh no, don't worry about the size, because he still is going to grow and this and that, and he's going to be a player, and he won't even make the team for another 3-4 years down the road, maybe. But my last little bit on this is, if the Leafs did go bigger and either drafted Schneider or Gooley, which are 2 Canadian kids, and both 6'2", 200-pound guys, both in their interviews were saying, they're kind of stay-at-home defensemen. They look at themselves as they want to compare themselves to like a Shea Weber or something like that. And to me, I like that mindset. Just, stay at home, nothing like a meat and potatoes guy, but he's going to be hard. They're going to be hard to play against. And I thought, in 2-3 years down the road, we could have that guy on, Matthews, Marner, Tavares. These guys would still have another 2 years by the time they broke the league, maybe.
Yep.
Who knows, man? Like, we can only, what I mean, Archie. It's it's the Leaf fan way, buddy. This is what we're doing. This is why we're on the podcast. We love to talk about the boys, and obviously we have our own opinions and all that, and we get into it. So that's my thought on that right now, anyway. So.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned the fact that they passed up on some Canadians, and in fact, even throughout the remaining rounds 2 through 6, the Leafs went pure European. We picked Finns and Russians, like, right off the hop with Amarov. And then you look at the second round at 59, Ronnie Hirvonen, Finland, 5'9", 170 within that thing. And they're saying, again, comparing him to Kerfoot. Not sure if that's a compliment or not, but I mean, they're drafting a lot of Europeans, and it's questionable, because that Canadians are in the game, right? That being said, I can understand why the Leafs aren't really getting too many Canadians, because deep in the draft, all the Canadians are getting picked early on. So you're not going to find too much Canadian talent this deep already in the second round, which
Absolutely.
is huge. So they picked up this centerman, did a little bit of research on him. Again, 5'9", 170, comparing him to Kerfoot. Third round comes along. They pick up a Finn, 6 foot, 163, apparently a good power play quarterback. He's a defenseman. So now it's starting to address the defense issue. I know that everybody was freaking out that they drafted a left winger in that first pick. But again, the top defensemen supposedly were already picked early on. I think it was within the top 6. Montreal or Ottawa got one, and I forget where the other one went. So a little bit more size. Again, these guys are really young. They probably won't see NHL for at least 2-3 years, if that, depending on how they develop. Fourth round, a little bit of a surprise. At 106, they picked up a goalie. Russian kid, 6'1", 168.
Yeah.
Pretty decent stats in the VHL, which is Russia's version of the AHL in the KHL division. 0.98 goals against average, a 957 save percentage. Again, you can't really compare these numbers to NHL numbers, of course, but hey, we've now got a goalie in the system that they can try to hopefully groom and see how it goes. A little further along.
Archie,
yep.
Sorry to cut you off there. What is what's going on with? I think it was Ian Scott was the other goalie we had, and we had that Jonathan Wall or those kids. I think we've drafted them in the last 5 years, and I just want to know. I don't know too much about them because I haven't heard about them too much. But I know that Ian Scott did play for the junior team. 2 years ago? He was a second goalie.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So I wonder what's going on there. If they've picked up these kids, drafted them, and they're really working towards them being a NHL qualifier. So I'm not too sure, but Goalies are hard in the draft regardless. Sorry to cut you off.
No
Continue
worries.
but I thought I would just bring that up.
They've got Ian Scott and Joseph Wall in the minors right now as the two Marlies goalies.
Okay.
Ian Scott is currently locked in till end of the 21-22 season, and Wall is locked in until the end of this coming season. Now, these are the 1-2 guys for sure in the Marlies. What happens after this now? Because again, I think with the goaltending, the Leafs are in a weird spot right now because
absolutely one more year left for Freddie, man.
Exactly. So a lot of people are going to maybe disagree with me or hate that I'm saying this, but I really think they should try to move Freddie this year because as much as I like the guy, I keep thinking about that big goose egg when it comes to being, the must-win match. He's 0-8. This is not a team stat. This is a Freddie Andersen stat. You can't blame your defense on all 8 games. I mean, I know the Leafs defense has been pretty crappy over the few years, but we're talking 8 must-win games, and you've disappeared, whatever it is may be. He lets in the early goal. He lets in the late goal. He looks really shaky in the first minute of the game. He's had some rough games. He has had some great games for us, but I'm not sure that Freddie Andersen is the guy that's going to take you deep into a playoff run.
Yeah, we may need a little bit more consistency. That's for sure. I mean, you know what? Like, opinions are opinions, and you're just looking at it as Freddie's in playoffs and he has the 0-8 when the games mattered, and it's easy to feel like that as a Leafs fan, man. Because I think Freddie's a great goalie. Takes a lot of shots every year. We're always top 5 in shots against, and that's a little bit of a defensive problem for the Leafs. But as far as Freddie being traded, I mean, it would be nice if we did trade him now to get something back for him because obviously you don't really want to let him walk next year. I mean, and then walk away for nothing when he's probably around a $5 million still a year type of goalie.
Now, the scary thing about that, though, is that if you trade him, depending on the type of contract you take back in that trade, you may be forced to retain some salary. Or do you just run with him this season and let him walk next season? You don't have to worry about retaining salary, and you go after a goalie. Now, I feel like a lot of the goaltending talent is available right now. So that's the problem. You're seeing goalies get picked up like crazy. And
absolutely.
We'll get into some of those crazy signings in a bit as well, because I'm shocked at what some of these goalies are making. And a guy like Khudobin, who just had the run of his life for Dallas, gets extended, but like cheap deal, like it's just unbelievable compared to what Markstrom just signed for. And it blows my mind because whoever did that contract for Markstrom is an absolute genius. Because I mean, I think Khudobin definitely deserved more. And it sets the bar in a really weird place when it comes to goalies and how much they're actually worth. I thought the days of the $6 million plus goalie were done, but it's looking like we're creeping back up in those numbers.
Oh man, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens, man. I mean, the goalie. I got the dog barking. What a deal, man. I mean, I like the Markstrom deal. I think it was a knock out of the park. Calgary picked up Markstrom, right?
Yep. They signed Calgary, $36 million deal.
Calgary has been dying for a starting goalie, man. They tried with Smith there from Arizona, and then my goodness, who else have they had there? Talbot. I mean, they're trying, man, and finally they land one, and hopefully that really sets. I'm a Toronto fan at the beginning, but you also want to see Canadian teams do well, essentially. And I've always felt like Calgary had a really good team built, just the goalie situation always kind of let them down. So to solidify that spot for them is huge, and that deal is great. I mean, what a great deal. And how old is Markstrom? He's 24, 25?
Markstrom is born in 1990.
Oh my goodness. So he's actually 30 then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I thought he was younger than that.
And that's the crazy part. The structure of this deal is unreal. So it's a 6-year, $36 million. In year one, he's making $6 million. Then it drops down to 4 million the following 2 years, and then jumps up to 8 million in years 4 and 5.
Huh. That's weird. Yeah, usually they structure it so that they're paid out more in the first few years, and then that's different, eh?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a weird contract for a goalie. Usually the goalies, they feed them, nice big money in the beginning, and as the years go on, it gradually goes down. So, and you're right, Calgary's been dying for a goalie. I was trying to think while you were talking who their last big goalie was, and I think it would be Kiprusoff.
Kiprusoff for sure, man, and he retired like 8 years ago. That guy, or maybe less, maybe around 2014, I would think, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. So, he last played for them in 2013.
Yeah, my goodness, that's crazy, man.
Since Calgary's had a solid goaltender, so I mean, I think this is a huge pickup for them. I mean, hey, it's not as bad as a Carey Price deal at $10 million a season, so you can't go wrong.
Man, Bobrovsky's deal, how about that? No. You can't. I mean, Florida really handcuffed. They're looking. They would love to re-sign Dadonov and Hoffman too, but it's looking like one of those guys might be on the move too. I mean, I don't know. That's a tire fire in Florida at this point, man. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it definitely is. Like that. That's and that's something I don't even know how you'd get out of it. Like it's gonna take a real magician to make that happen.
Yeah. But you know what? It's one more thing on Freddie though, man. Do you take the chance with them with a little bit of a better defense and feel a little bit more confident that you have the TJ Brody? If you pick up another guy, you got Riley, TJ Brody, you got Muzzin, you got between Hall. I mean, Hall had a step up year last year. He was looking a lot better. Dermott still needs to sign the contract. And then you just fill in your bottom with either Sandin or Liljegren. I mean, the defense is already looking better, but it's always hard to. If the defense is better, then you're gonna put less stress on your goalie. And man, Freddie to me, like he just looks good in net. I know, but he has those games where he just kind of like he kind of just bobbles the puck a little bit, and those weak little goals that go in a big game, like what was the big one this year? The buddy was at was it Pierre-Luc Dubois or someone, or no, it was someone else, and they were almost on the red line and on the goalie line there, and they just put it through his pads. I think Marinson gave a bad pass or something, or someone. No. I think Hall changed up or something. No, I know. Marinson's gone, right? He's not there, right?
No, he's still there.
Oh my goodness! I mean, he kills penalties.
I don't know how much ice time he's going to see this year, but
yeah, I hope none. So, like, you know what? As much as they've been developing that kid, and he is a 6'5" frame and all that, but we got to get rid of him, man. He's followed the puck. He's almost like a Jake Gardner in Leaf history at this point, man. He's made some bad decisions. He's a little slow on the puck. He's got the big stick and the big reach, but it ain't no Chara reach, man. And I don't know. We'll see, man. This is all coming to me just because of Freddie Anderson, man. I just feel like a little bit better system. We play tougher. We picked up Wayne Simmons. We pick up TJ Brody. You said you think that there's still moves to make for Dubas, and hopefully it addresses the defense a little bit more. And I think Freddie can just relax a little bit and not feel so pressured in playoff games. But don't get me wrong, I understand exactly where you're coming from when you say what you say, because I'm sure a lot of Leaf fans feel that way too. It's like, dude, when you're in the big moment, you got to step up. And then you have these guys like the Markstroms and Kudobins that out of nowhere come in big games. They're getting paid less than Fred, and we're, quite frankly, they were off the map, last year, and all of a sudden they're going to second, third round in the playoffs, and they look like superstars. Like, we haven't had that from Freddie yet, and the Ducks didn't really get that from Freddie either. If you remember that far back, I mean, Hiller, or was it someone took over Freddie's job for the Ducks? Was it Hiller, Jonas Hiller? It was someone.
I think it was Jonas Hiller.
Yeah, Jonas Hiller, and it might have been a little bit of a cap situation back then, but I think the Ducks were in playoffs and they went down a couple times in a row, and they took the young kid and shipped Freddie over to here, and Lou at the time thought, okay, let's see what this goalie's made of. He's going to be a consistent goalie for the Leafs. But dude, the only time will tell with that one, Archie. We'll see how it goes.
Well, and the thing with the Leafs now, we've seen it with all the other teams as well. Riding one goalie all year does not work anymore. And I mean, do they use
unless you're
better?
Carey Price?
Unless you're Carey Price.
Yes,
but do they use Jack Campbell this year and utilize him better? I think Campbell with a little more play, I can't see him being a bad option to go to give Anderson a little bit of rest when he needs it, so he's not getting burnt out so early on in the year.
Yeah. I mean, you know what, dude? I've only seen the smallest sample size of Campbell, just like most Leaf fans, and I haven't really looked too much into him. I mean, he looks good when he does step into the game, and he looks like he's a smaller goalie, right? But he looks. You can tell he has. I mean, all goalies kind of have that look in their eye where they're very focused and they're ready to go, and Campbell has that look as well. Just that sharp look, like, I'm going to stop everything, but I don't know enough about Campbell yet. I mean, you can do your research, but he's always been a backup. And if you're going to tell him to split time, how old is Campbell right now?
Jack Campbell is currently. Oh, where'd it go here? Oh, here we go. So Campbell right now is 28. So, I mean, he's not that old.
He's not that old. And I don't know how long he's been a backup in the league for. He's probably
been
from
LA, right? The most games he's played in a season was in 2018, 2019, 31 games in LA, and he went 10, 14, and 1.
And that was when LA obviously was not the championship Stanley Cup contending LA that that they were beforehand. So that was a couple of years after. So
yeah, you're right. I mean, he's got backup goalie numbers. I'm not sure that he's ever going to be a starting goalie per se, considering he's 28. But it's crazy because he was actually drafted by Dallas in the first round in 2010 at 11th overall, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Overall 11?
Yeah.
Well, dude, that just goes to show you, like, when you draft goalies. I mean, what's the only goalie that's panned out with a first round? Carey Price? Didn't Montreal take Carey Price first round? I'm pretty sure, man. I don't think there's been much goalies that went first round in the last long time. So
Carter Hart went in the second round, deep in the second round.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to look this up. I think Carey Price may very well be. Yeah, he was picked in 2005, round 1, pick 5 by Montreal.
Yeah. So between Campbell so that just goes to show you exactly how it could work out for you in the NHL. Either you're going to be the star-studded goalie that you're projected to be in the minors, and when you get to the NHL, or you're going to be a kind of. I mean, Campbell's a Maple Leaf. We're fans of the Leafs, but I don't want to say a wash. But he's definitely not a number one starting goaltender after a first round pick. So. I mean, that's just the way she goes sometimes, but yeah. We'll see what happens. The goaltending situation in hockey is just it's been so crazy and up and down in the last few years, just with the different contracts and the way that teams and coaches want to use their goalies. I mean, you always wanted a starter, and you always want your starter to play about 50, 60 games a season, and your backup comes in, but now with the Carolina and New York Islanders kind of splitting goalie duties in the last few years, and it's actually working. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Do you split goaltending duties with Freddie if you keep him? Do you split that and have Jack Campbell come in and hold up his end of the bargain there and try to win games too?
I don't know if you split 50-50 because, I mean, at this point, you're hoping that bringing in TJ Brody, bringing in Wayne Simmons to toughen the team up, maybe Anderson sees less than 5,000 shots a game. So you're right. It can't all be put on Anderson. When the goalie lets in that first shot, it's tough. But when he's getting peppered late in the game and he's facing 40, 50 shots a night, that's crazy, man. Like you can't expect your goalie to not get burnt out. And I'm hoping
that's it, man.
I'm really hoping it does.
Buddy, I couldn't agree more, man. Man, I'm just happy that Dubas is addressing a little bit of the toughness with Wayne Simmons and then getting, a top 4 defenseman. Hopefully that helps the defensive end for the Leafs and And it's not only the defensive end, man. Our forwards need to have a little bit more tenacity too, and a little bit more of a grittier approach to being the first to puck battles and winning puck battles in the corners. And I mean, you would hope that Nylander and Marner take a step in that direction, because they've been the ones that, I mean, the first 2 years, first 2 years or so, Babcock was hard on Matthews, and you could tell he was trying to tell. You could tell just by the way Matthews played, he was really trying for the defensive end first, and then letting the offense come from the defense. But Matthews is really the only one out of the three-headed monster, when it used to be called that, out of Marner and Nylander, that actually plays the defensive end well. Mind you, he's the first line center. But I mean, you got to get hopefully the forwards and the offense of the Leafs come together and they play hard as well this year. They're another year older, another year of experience, another heartbreaking loss and a qualifier for the playoffs. They have never made it to second round. You got to hope that the anger builds, and you got to hope that they play angry, man. You got to hope that the whole team takes another step and actually wants to play for everyone at this point, man. They're all locked in. They all got their deals, and let's play hard and give Freddie a chance here. And if you don't give Freddie a chance, then just like you said, if we trade him, we better get something good back, and it better be on the defensive end. So
absolutely,
that's it.
So we're going to look at some of the other trades that have gone on.
Okay.
Today, actually, I think there's only been one big trade today, and that's this one here. Paul Stastny going back to Winnipeg from Vegas in exchange for Carl Dahlstrom and a 2022 conditional. What do you think of Stastny going back home to Winnipeg?
I think that's great for Winnipeg. I mean, how old is Stastny though? He's definitely he's got to be pushing mid-30s if anything. No,
he's 34.
34, played in Winnipeg when he was 31, 32-ish or so. So he's still in his prime. You had a couple of years on, and everyone knows NHLers and I mean athletes in general. Those as soon as you start pushing those 34, 35 years, and unless you're maybe Ovechkin and Crosby at this point, you slow down a little bit. I think it's great for Stastny. They wanted to bring him back because I heard he had chemistry with Ehlers and Laine. And if they don't move Laine and they keep him there, then maybe they're trying to get that spark back in Winnipeg. Mm-hmm. That's the only way I see them bringing Stastny back on that deal. And for Winnipeg, they'll take players. They'll definitely sign players that, want to come and play for them, because I think that's a market where NHLers have a little bit of trouble getting their heads around going to Winnipeg and the north of Canada there, and in the Maritimes, and going and playing hockey, right? So, I mean, I've heard rumors of a couple guys talking a little bit of smack and stuff about the city of Winnipeg, just because it's just brutally cold there and there's not a lot to do. So, hey, man, if they want to bring Stastny back, get a spark back into their fan base, and Stastny's a good player, bud. He's got a couple of years left. They wouldn't have brought him back if they didn't know he could play. And
just looking at
that's good for Winnipeg. I like the signing for them, man. It's good.
Yeah, just looking at some of his stats in 2018-19, he had 50 games played, 42 points, and then I'm assuming he got hurt, and it ended there. He was on pace to have the best season of his career. And then the following year, 71 games, 38 points with Vegas. So, I mean, he's still got it in him. I mean, he's like you said, he's no Ovechkin or Sidney Crosby, but he's still got it in him. And if it helps keep Laine in Winnipeg, why not?
Absolutely. That's the way I'm looking at them picking him back up. So, I mean, you know what? It's as far as, I mean, I had a little bit of hatred for Winnipeg there. Just because of the Matthews and Laine thing. It just used to drive me nuts, because I as a Leaf fan, always thought, how do you compare Matthews to Laine? And Laine was actually putting up the points and the goals like crazy those first couple of years in the league. But at the end of the day, Winnipeg's a Canadian team, man, and they lost their team for a lot of years, and they came back there 7-8 years ago, or however long it's been now. And I'll root for the Canadian team, because a cup hasn't came back to Canada since '93, man, and that's a hell of a long time.
Yep.
So good for them. Good for Stasny. And that's all I got to say about that one, man. I think it's a good pickup if it works out for them and it sparks the Ehlers and Line A line, because I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to try to do there. So
yeah, man. And now we get into the meat and potatoes of this conversation. The free agent frenzy started today at 12 o'clock, and my goodness, has it been a busy day. I am not going to sit here and go through every single one. I just pulled up all the moves today, and I didn't even realize how much actually happened. I knew it was a busy day. Some small ones, nothing crazy going on early on, but then some big ones, some pretty big moves that I was not expecting. I got to start off with, I was not expecting Kevin Shattenkirk to go to Anaheim. Wins a Stanley Cup, moves off to Anaheim.
That must have been some kind of money deal, or family is there, or he has something tied into Anaheim, because Anaheim is on a rebuild, man, and they're Getzlaf, Kessler, Perry. I mean, those guys, that was that team years ago, about 3-4 years ago, when they were actually a little bit relevant and making playoffs. But for a Stanley Cup guy to, he's been chasing a Stanley Cup. You know what? I'm just thinking about it and talking about it now, I think Shattenkirk might just be happy he got a Stanley Cup and he just wants to go back and relax, man. Go to Anaheim, play hockey, and not worry about too much shine on him right now, and finish out his career. Make how much did he sign for, Archie?
Shattenkirk signed a 3-year deal, $11.7 million. Not bad money.
Yeah. So, but that being said, he is also 30? He's a 35-year-old guy or so.
No, 34? I thought the same thing. He's actually 31, man.
No.
Yeah, I thought he was older.
Wow. Okay. So that makes that pickup and trade. He was picked up. He was a free agent, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a weird pickup, man. That's weird. He would go to there.
Anaheim.
What the heck? Yeah, that's through. So what's he expecting to do when he's there?
That's when I saw him with Anaheim, I'm like, wait, did they make a mistake? That something doesn't seem right, but that's where he's off to.
That's very interesting. Yeah, right-handed shot. Then he's been sought after by the top Stanley Cup contending teams in the league the last 2-3 years, and yeah, there's not even much more to get into. I mean, I think that's just kind of, unless internally why he went there, or we listen to an interview from him in the next few days and find out why, because I'm sure the league will be, people, fan base, everyone's going to be like, why the heck did you go to Anaheim Ducks? Anaheim. Maybe he wants the sunshine and the flip flops, buddy. That's probably it.
Well, and here's what I'm thinking may happen is he may very well start the season in Anaheim and come the trade deadline find himself on another contending team. Could be a rental player. Who knows, right?
That's a possibility. Players do that for sure.
And Anaheim will try to get back some young players in exchange.
Some young players or some picks, and rebuild the way that they've been trying to do that the last little while. Yeah. All right. Yeah. If you look into it and from all the different varieties of ways like that, then that could definitely be a possibility. Because I really don't understand why, but maybe Anaheim's management has something up their sleeve for the upcoming next free agency and draft and everything. So we'll see.
Who knows, right? They got to plan ahead. Another big one. This is crazy. The Leafs, Kyle Dubas comes out and says the Leafs are got to get stronger. They got to get tougher to play against. And all of a sudden, every other team in the division did that exact thing that he said was going to happen in Toronto. So it started to get crazy because Montreal picks up Johnson. Was it Josh Johnson? Is that his name?
I know who you're talking about. I've seen that trade today. So they're trying to get a little bit bigger. Yes,
they get bigger with him. Then Ottawa
and with Josh Anderson, of course. But
yeah, that's it, Josh Anderson. Yeah. And then Ottawa goes and makes a huge splash in the goalie market. Matt Murray, 4 years, $25 million. I was not expecting that.
You know what, Archie? The Matt Murray thing, I wouldn't say I was expecting Matt Murray to go to Ottawa, but I knew that Ottawa with they came out and they said they're not going to re-sign Craig Anderson. I mean, Craig Anderson's had a great career in Ottawa. Took him to the third round of the playoffs there, and they lost in a game 7 against Pittsburgh Penguins, or was it Pittsburgh or Capitals? I forget, when they had the Carlson and Hoffman and everyone there. But anyways, away from that, I kind of knew that Ottawa was looking for a goalie because I feel like in the last 2 years they've really got their draft picks in, and they've really tried to rebuild that team. And I mean, they got some good young talent there, man. I mean, you got Brady Tkachuk there, you got Shabbat there. You bring in a goalie, all of a sudden, you kind of got this little structure going, and you might be a little competitive. They took Connor Brown from us there. I mean, he's going to be a good third line guy that plays hard every night. And I'm probably missing a couple of guys that they have, but I know that they've drafted and picked up a few really good players in the last couple of years, man. And they're going to be a good team, man. Ottawa will be a good team in the next few years. It's going to be a good battle of Ontario, and I can't wait for that, man, because a good battle of Ontario is always fun, man, because I hate Ottawa. Sorry, Ottawa fans. Sorry. I am a Leaf fan, but trust me, I'll definitely take the Maple Laughs from you guys any day of the week, because it's just a good rivalry. So
yeah, and Craig Anderson was 39 years old, so you have to expect they got to replace him. I'm surprised it even
they had to replace him, man.
So then moving on, Bobby Ryan signs with the Detroit Red Wings, 1 year, $1 million.
Okay, well, give me your thoughts first, buddy.
So I look at Bobby Ryan and I look at the season he had this past year. I look at his whole career has been in an absolute roller coaster.
Man, one of the biggest roller coaster rides of a career in NHL history, I think. Seriously.
So you look at 2 years ago, the guy had 42 points in 78 games. Last year, he plays 24 games, gets 8 points. The guy's life and career are literally doing this. So I just feel horrible. $1 million, 1 year deal to go to Detroit, the team that is just so deep in a hole that could this be his farewell tour? Like, I don't know, man. Like it makes no sense. He's 33 years old. Why?
Bobby Ryan. I mean, man, guy was an absolute stud and an absolute beauty in the league, man, especially when he was with the Ducks there, man. I mean, you thought that this guy, I mean, he played for Team USA at one point, man. I mean, this guy was a really good American-born player. Filthy little soft mitts he has a good shot. He's got a good east to west game where he uses his he changes his speed a lot and knows how to dangle. He's a very interesting player, but he's still young too, right? He's going to be 30. How old is he?
33.
Okay, so he's 30. Oh my goodness, we're getting old, man. We're getting old, bud. 33. He goes to Detroit. I mean, geez, Detroit is just a weird place to go play hockey right now, man. Is Peter Mrazek isn't the goalie there right now. He went to Carolina. No. Is Peter Mrazek the goalie of Detroit?
I'm looking that up because they did go through some changes.
Yeah, because it used to be Howard, and then was Peter Mrazek, and there's some weird goalie stuff going on there too. But away from that, when you're searching that, Bobby Ryan going there for $1 million, that's another thing. Why would Bobby Ryan at 33 go to a team that's probably not going to break 500 this year? And if they do break 500, then I would say that's a step into the right direction for their franchise. But wow, it's just, I mean, maybe that's what comes into play, right? You got to think maybe he's friends with a couple of these guys, like the Bertuzzis or the what's the other kid that their best player, one of their best players there on Detroit, the fast kid. He won the skating competition.
They've got Larkin.
Dylan Larkin. That's who I'm thinking of. But outside of that, I mean, man, they don't really got a lot of guys. And they're like, my goodness, I really don't understand why Bobby Ryan would go there. And Detroit's just such a weird city. I mean, they had their heydays and they made playoffs for whatever, like that record of like 21 years in a row or something. And the Datsyuks and Zetterbergs and Holmstroms and Lidstroms, man, they had a great franchise. But I mean, Detroit is just such a weird place to go play hockey nowadays, man. Like, no one wants to go there. No one wants to see the octopus on the ice there, man. I don't know why he would go there. Seriously, I really don't know. That's another weird trade, man. That's almost like that's comparable to Shattenkirk going to the Ducks. Like, you think that these guys maybe you know what? Bobby Ryan, because of his history and everything that's going on with him, maybe Detroit was one of the only teams that would sign him, man. Maybe other teams didn't want that type of noise in the dressing room or around the team. Could be a possibility. Maybe Detroit said, hey, you can come here. You can be better in leadership for the young guys that we're bringing up, and maybe you're going to score maybe we'll get you back on track and you're going to score 20 goals this year with this team because you're going to play top line minutes. Like, who knows, man? I don't know.
Yeah. And we were talking about goalies in Detroit. I actually didn't even realize who's there right now. It is two former Leaf goalies.
Oh, God. Who?
The starter is good old Jonathan Bernier.
Bernier? Oh, and Bernie.
The backup is Calvin Pickard, who they had for a short little period of time.
Oh, my God. So Colorado Avalanche and Leafs Calvin Pickard, who came in. We were all excited, and he dumped on us. And then you got Bernier. Oh my God, how happy were Leaf fans when we picked up Bernier, man. We were like, oh, this guy, we heard the greatest things. He's won Stanley Cups with LA. He's gonna be a number one goalie in the league. People were comparing him already, like as a Jonathan Quick, and Jonathan Quick taught him how to play. My God, man, what a tire fire he was too, man. I mean, the only best part about having Bernier was that first game where Clarkson jumped off the bench, and then Bernier went and fought Buddy across the ice, and Kessel got hacked by John or whatever his name was, John Scott. That was the only good Bernier highlight. He went and fought his first Leaf game as a Leafs goalie. I mean that's pretty cool. But as far as the goalie situation in Detroit, those are two goalies that I would not want to be building my franchise around. They got to figure some shit. But you know what? No goalie is going to want to go sign in Detroit right now, and that's why they have Bernier and Pickard there. So that's what it is, man.
Both goalies are up at the end of this coming season, so I don't know what the heck they're going to do over there.
Dude, maybe they have someone in the pipeline or something that we don't know about, because Detroit. Yeah. Detroit's always had like a decent goalie in the franchise, so we'll see maybe in the next couple of years. But I don't know what kind of jump or what kind of start they're gonna have this year. I don't know. They got like one line there, man. One solid line, and the rest of the other forwards, it you know what? It hurts sometimes as a transitioning over from the heydays into the dark days, man. Like. It wasn't long ago that it seems like right after it was Datsyuk and Zetterberg's team, and then Lidstrom to Datsyuk and Zetterberg when they were still relevant in the league, and then as soon as those two retired, they left it to Helm, they left it to Tatar, and they left it to
there for a bit.
Yeah, Abdelkader. They left it to these good players, but they weren't star players. And it's been a hard transition for Detroit. And you know what? As a hockey fan, like I already stated before in the podcast there, it's hard seeing an original six team go through the motions like this, man. You just want them to get picked up and start being a contender again, so that those games are a lot more exciting, because the Leafs face Detroit, and they're a good team, and they're fighting for playoffs. That's always great hockey, and it's a long rivalry of 100 years or whatever. Detroit's probably been in the league since 1925 or whatever, close to 100 years. So, yeah, that's a weird one with Bobby Ryan, man. We're spider-webbing all crazy with this one.
Yeah, and then we're going to continue the goalie run. Henrik Lundqvist gets bought out by the Rangers and now is in Washington on a 1-year, $1.5 million deal. I'll let you start off with this one.
You know what, dude? I am really happy for Henrik Lundqvist, man. There's people that don't like him for some reason. Like, I don't really know why, because he's kind of the quiet, cool cat. You know, you kind of like, I've never had a problem with Henrik Lundqvist. He's been loyal to his team. He's been the New York Rangers stud in net for his whole career, and the guy wants to play still. I mean, you can't. What are you going to do, man? The guy's, what, 37 or 38? He's up there, and he wants to still play competitive hockey, and he thinks he still has it in him. And I think that I'm really happy for Lundqvist that he caught a deal, and he's going to go play for Washington. I don't know if he's going to be the starter for Washington. I mean, Holtby's gone. They're bringing in Lundqvist. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Now I'm saying I'm happy for Lundqvist, but I don't know if I'm really happy for the Capitals organization on this one. Lundqvist has been a little inconsistent the last few years, and that's why this Georgiev kid has come up and kind of replaced Lundqvist. And the Rangers, the Rangers had a pretty decent team this year, and Lundqvist still struggled for them. So they've seen him declining in the last few years, and just like any goalie that starts turning 35, 36, they start going down, and maybe it's better off if they play more of a leadership kind of role in the dressing room and do a backup to whoever's 25 and starting out. But that's all I got to say about that. Is Capitals organization. I'd be a little bit weary and a little bit nervous about that signing. But as far as for Henrik Lundqvist, right on you, buddy. You got an NHL contract. You're going to a team that could potentially make a Stanley Cup run next year. So kudos to you. Hats off, bro.
And so we look at Washington. You're right. Holtby's gone. So now, as it stands, he's the starter, man, because they've got Ilya Samsonov, who's 23 years old. I don't think they're going to start with that guy. And then they got Zach Fucale deep in the system.
Fucale?
Yeah.
That was the Canadian kid. He played for the World Juniors.
Yep. So they've got him buried in the minors right now.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just trying to buy some time and just see what happens this year. If King Henrik steals some games for them, I mean, you never know, right? But interesting place for him to land. I thought for sure wherever he'd go, he'd end up being that experienced backup goalie. But this is too young of a goalie for him to be mentoring. So I don't know what Washington's plans are there, but that's interesting.
I like your take on that, though, Archie. Just saying that maybe Washington's going to just take the chance and then kind of develop their young guy like a Fucale or something still, and then they're hoping he's ready to go, but this is just the right fix right now. Obviously, they needed a goalie that can start in the NHL and that has the experience. So, I mean, I think that's the only thing that makes sense with signing him for that 1 year. And I think that they're just kind of they're getting their pipeline ready for a goalie in Fucale, I would assume anyway. I mean, we heard a lot of big things about him years ago, not too many years ago, but if like maybe 3 years ago, he was the Canadian junior goalie there. He had a great run. I think he got gold that year, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure he was the goalie when Domi, Duclair, and McDavid were there. So maybe it was actually longer than that. I don't know. But anyways, a very interesting move, very interesting signing. But at the end of the day, the Capitals did need an NHL starting goalie, and they couldn't pay Holtby what he wanted. So good for Henrik. Like I said, be weary if you're a Capitals fan on the goaltending situation, but I mean, hopefully it pans out for both the teams, because no matter what, you always want a good team in the league, because that makes exciting hockey and entertaining hockey. So,
yeah, and we will continue with the goalies because it seems like it was goalie day.
It was goalie day.
We kind of touched base on this one before. Anton Khudobin, 3 years, $10 million for the Dallas Stars. This is an amazing signing for the Stars.
We're not going home.
Exactly. When you hear his name, that is what I hear too. And
every time I hear him, that's exactly what I hear. We're not going home.
He's 34. I thought he was younger. He's 34 years old.
Yeah.
He just came off, I think he was making 2.8 million. So got a little bit of a bump after playing his absolute ass off for the Stars this year. And 3 years at 10 million, not a bad signing for the Stars. And I guess, I mean, it gives him job security, right? Like it's obviously it was a goalie's market this year.
Well, and Archie, to go off that, the Stars know, I mean, getting a goalie for 3.3, whatever it is, right? 3.3, whatever, a year on average is good for them. Khudobin, they know him in the dressing room. They know what he's capable of. And what I'm trying to get to is they also know that Ben Bishop is injury prone, man. I mean, Ben Bishop, a great goalie, like one of the better goalies, but you don't know too much about him because he only plays half a season, if that, like every year. He looks hot. He has a player of the week once in a while, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's out with injury, man. So I think that's a fantastic signing for the Stars. I think Khudobin, Khudobin carried them, helped carry the Stars to where they went. He played phenomenal. He was fantastic to watch. He was an exciting goalie. I think he's a good dressing room guy. I've heard that around the league and stuff. I heard he's a hilarious guy, takes things lightly. He likes to fool around and be a little silly in the dressing room, and he's a good heart to heart kind of guy. So great signing by Dallas, man, and especially because they know Ben Bishop. Ben Bishop is a big frame, man. The guy's like 6'5" or whatever, and over 200 pounds for sure. And it's easy. Big trees fall hard, and Ben Bishop is getting a little older now too. So that's good. I like the signing, Archie. That's good for Dallas, and absolutely. Hopefully everyone heals up on their team, because did you see the damn list that came out of all the injuries they had in that playoff series against Tampa? Well, they had like 10 guys that were friggin' hurting, man. It's no wonder Tampa kind of steamrolled them there in the finals. But not taking anything away from Tampa, good Stanley Cup win by them. They deserve it. They've been searching and in the hunt for that for a long time. So good on them, but good on Khudobin, good on Dallas Stars. I like it.
Yep. And again, we'll continue on. The Chicago Blackhawks. This is an interesting signing because I feel like everybody's kind of given up on this kid. Malcolm Subban. So they pick him up 2 years, 1.7 million, going to Chicago.
2 years, 1.7 million.
Yeah. So it's a steal of a deal if you're looking at what you're paying for your goalie. But we're talking Malcolm Subban, who's been literally walked away from by every team he's played for. Toronto kid, but that's about all he's got going for him in my books.
Yeah, Malcolm Subban, I mean, drafted to Boston, didn't really fit in there. I played a couple of games, and then Boston, he went to Vegas, right?
In each season
played,
in Boston.
One. That's it. And then he went to Vegas, right? That was after.
Yeah, and he went 13-4 with Vegas in his first year. Not bad.
Well, remember that, but that was that was a weird first year for an expansion team. I mean, Vegas came out hot, and everyone was waiting for them to cool off, and they just didn't. With Fleury going down, with whoever else was their backup, he went down, and then it came to Malcolm Subban, and boom, and he started winning games too. It was just like you could not beat Vegas Golden Knights in 2017, man. So. He's obviously he's an NHL goalie. I don't know if he's a starter. That's a weird one, man. I mean,
looks like he's going to Chicago.
He's going to be the starter for Chicago. Not even like split duties with whoever else they got back.
They've got Colin Delia, same age, making $1 million. I don't know. Chicago's in an interesting position as well. I feel like they're in kind of the same position as Detroit with where the heck their team is right now, because they got some old guys that are starting to slow down.
Yeah, man. I mean, Taze and Kane can only be putting on superstar performances for maybe another year or so, and then they're going to start slowing down. But that being said, I kind of like what the Chicago Blackhawks have done. Not necessarily talking about the Subban signing, but I mean, they've picked up some guys. I mean, isn't like Alex Nylander on there?
Yep.
They picked up that first or second overall pick there from that didn't pan out. Strome, Dylan Strome.
Dylan Strome, yep.
Dylan Strome. So they picked up this like young kind of talent, and they still have DeBrincat there. And it seems like the pipeline there, that Kubalik kid looked good last year. It seems like the pipeline for them with Taze and Kane and Keith and all the veteran Stanley Cup guys starting to get a little older and pushed out of the league, unfortunately. But I think that the organization's done a pretty good job at kind of keeping the pipeline hot and fresh. But that brings us to the Subban signing is definitely a weird one because, I mean, Chicago was under a 500 team. They made the bubble qualifiers. Obviously, they didn't make it through, but they're a team that's still looking to like maybe just get into playoffs. So maybe Subban has a good year as a known starter. I don't think he's ever been considered the starter before. Maybe mentally, that's a good thing for a goalie like that has the potential and is still he's still a pretty young guy. I think Malcolm's 26. I know he's not as old as PK. He came into the league a couple of years after. So
26 as well.
Yep. So I think it's a gamble, but sometimes you need to gamble, man. And Corey Crawford just wasn't doing it for Chicago anymore. And hats off to him. What a great career he had with Chicago. But I think it's a little bit of a gamble, but I don't think it's going to hurt Chicago in a sense, man, because Chicago knows that they're in the middle of this weird transition period, just like you said. So they're going to hope for the best, hope that Malcolm plays well for them and takes the starting role and maybe has a little bit of that spark and shine that he had for Vegas when he was starting consistently for them during that 2017 run that they had. So we'll see.
Whoa. Some more breaking news.
Okay.
Wow, and this could change things a lot here. Torrey Krug to St. Louis. Does this mean Pietrangelo is way out?
Of course that means that Pietrangelo's out. He's gone. There is no way, because I know that Torrey Krug is looking for the big deal. It's his big deal in his career.
He cashed in, bro. 7 years, $45.5 million. Wow.
So that's like 6 point something a year average.
That is a 6 point showing here at a 6.5 average.
6.5. Oh my God. Good for how old is Torrey Krug? 27?
Torrey Krug is 29.
Wow, he's older than I thought.
He got the deal that Pietrangelo was basically going to get. So they've basically see you later.
But wait, Archie, that being said, I think Pietrangelo, that obviously means that in the contract negotiations, Pietrangelo said, no, I want 8. He wanted he wanted at least $1 million more. And they said, we can't do that, sir. And they took Torrey Krug. Wow. And you know what? I can see St. Louis still has a lot of size on that team. They're still a pretty heavy team. They got a lot of talent there, and Torrey Krug is no pushover, man. The guy isn't the biggest NHLer right-handed defenseman, right?
Sorry, Pietrangelo?
No, Torrey Krug. Is he a right-handed shot?
Krug is a left-handed shot.
Okay. But that being said, Torrey Krug, I mean, any team would love to have a Torrey Krug. He plays bigger than his size. He plays like a 6'3" guy on defense, and that's what I like about him. Obviously, if there's Boston fans here, I really don't like Torrey Krug because he's a good player and he always has the Leafs number a little bit. So, but what a good signing for St. Louis. They obviously saved a little bit of cap space and the millions that they would have had to give to Pietrangelo, but that's a big deal right there. Obviously, so where does that leave Boston?
Well,
that's,
that's
I
a
mean,
big
boss,
gap.
Chara's getting older. Chara hasn't signed a deal yet. He might be out the door retiring, and then you got Krug gone, and who the hell is left?
This is interesting. I was not expecting this to happen right now. Like, that's basically 100%. Pietrangelo is not going back to St. Louis. The rumors all day were there was 3 teams: Toronto, Vegas, St. Louis. If he goes to Vegas, I'll be so mad.
Oh, man,
so mad.
Vegas has just been like hauling in the big fish, like not the biggest fish, but they've been hauling in big fish, man. Mark Stone, who else went there? They've hauled in with the Pacioretty, Mark Stones, Stasny's. They've picked up some good players, man. And if they pick up Pietrangelo, and you know what? I think Vegas is a gambling team, and I think they're crazy enough to friggin' do it. If they have the cap room, I could see Pietrangelo going there because, I mean, Pietrangelo is a player that wants to win a cup, and you look at the Leafs. Hey, the Leafs are a great organization, one of the best in the league, the hockey mecca of the world. There's going to be a lot of spotlight on him there, and he's going to have to go in and really solidify that top defenseman, and maybe he doesn't want to do that. And also on top of that, Vegas has went further in the playoffs than the Leafs have in ever since they've been in the league. So, and Vegas looked really good this year. I was surprised that they actually got knocked out. I thought they were going to the Cup final this year. So,
I'll tell you what, though, we're going to get to some of the comments from some of our viewers in a minute. But before we do, if Kyle Dubas somehow makes Pietrangelo a Toronto Maple Leaf, I would assume it's going to cost them having to move probably both Nylander and Johnsson to free up the money. I would absolutely love that. I mean, I know Nylander, you don't want to lose the guy, but we also know that we can't keep all these young guys up front. There's too much money invested there. Unfortunately, the worst contract, and I hate to admit it, Mitch Marner, brutal contract, really hurts the Leafs financially. So they're going to have to make a move. One of the top 4 are going to have to go. You know, Matthews isn't going anywhere. Tavares isn't going anywhere. So it comes down to, do you move Marner or do you move Nylander? Nylander has the most tradable and attractive contract, obviously, between the two. So it'll be easier for any team to want that.
Yeah. Just going in with you here, buddy. I mean, the thing, I think we have about $3.5 million cap space left right now, right? So if you go on cap friendly.
Yep. Leafs have, it's a little funny how it's reading right now, but it's basically saying 0. But I mean,
okay. I think that they have about 3.5 left. I'm pretty sure
in that range. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have 3.5 left, oh, okay. Sorry. You know what? Disregard, because we still have to try to sign like Mikheyev, right?
So they extended a qualifying offer to him. Now
we're just waiting on him,
right?
Well,
and
that I was just saying. Yeah, Dermott too. Yeah, I was just getting into. I mean, if you moved Andreas Johnsson, there's 3.2 or something?
3.4.
3.4. You add that 3.5. You got about 7. I mean, you got about 7 million to play with, and then maybe you move another something. You don't necessarily have to move Nylander. But that being said, you still got to sign Mikheyev and Dermott. So there goes that. You would have to move a Nylander for sure, because I think that you are looking to have. I think that you're looking to have a contract at the ready for Pietrangelo, and I'm telling you, I think he's going to want at least 7.5, probably 8. He's going to want 8 for 7 years, because he's going to want his max deal. I don't know if the Leafs are going to do it, man. It's starting to look a little weird. Pietrangelo's got to move. He's got to move now. There's no doubt about it. He's gone. I mean,
100%. And I think this may have caught him by surprise, because I don't think anybody saw this.
Absolutely. Well, the 2 highest unrestricted free agents on defense literally just cross-examined. What the heck is going on here? How do you have oh my goodness. So Wow. Petrangelo must be shaking in his shoes right now. Like, he must be jittery, man. Like, what just happened? I am not going to be the captain of the St. Louis Blues anymore, and Torrey Krug is going to come over and take over my spot?
So what I think
Oh
maybe
my
happened here
goodness.
is you have St. Louis sitting here waiting on Pietrangelo, full out knowing the Leafs and Vegas are both heavily looking for a defenseman. So
Yeah.
do they risk losing Krug and Pietrangelo, and now they're stuck? So I think they made this move knowing that they can offer Krug what he wants. And yeah, this
Before another NHL team signs him up, because they
is
probably
them
knew
taking him right out the door. See you later.
the comparable to Edwin Encarnacion and his agent with the Blue Jays. The same thing, man. His agent was waiting for too long, and then we signed that other big hitter, whatever his name was, man, and then boom, it was over. So that's kind of the same thing. You gotta take advantage of any NHL teams, especially free agency day. You got to take advantage of things as soon as possible, because you never know what's going to come. You never know who's going to be gone. And it's a race, essentially. You got to be the first one to score these guys, or they're going to be gone. Everyone's a hot commodity. Everyone brings all these guys are on the board for a reason, man. And I mean, that really leaves to address our defensive. I have a feeling that oh no, we signed. Sorry. Dude, I asked you about the 3.5 cap that the Leafs would have. I guess that would be gone because that was before the TJ Brody signing. I think I read that. So
Yeah, you know
there
what? You're
goes
right.
that
That's why
already.
it shows it's at 0 right now.
Okay, so that makes sense now. But you can always go over the cap,
Yeah,
and
and
then trade the players away or waive them later.
You
So
can stack up now. It's just you run a risk of not moving players, but obviously you have no choice. So they can still make the move if they want. They're just going to have to quickly shed salary at some point. So
yes.
I'm still confident he's coming to Toronto. I'm fingers crossed. If Alex ends up in Toronto again,
Come
King
here.
City boy,
Come on. Dude, if he comes here, we're automatically we are just up. We're upgraded. It was at 80% battery, and it just went full 100 on that one. If he comes here, bud, we are large and in charge, man. That would be great. TJ, dude, could you imagine? You got Pietrangelo, Riley, TJ Brody, and Muzzin as our top 4 defensive pairing. That to me is Stanley Cup contending defense core.
Absolutely.
Woo, that would be my heart would be going if Pietrangelo came. I'm gonna pray with you and hope that he comes. Let's hope that it's got to happen, and I think it's going to happen in the next 10 minutes. I think, man, because it's gotta. He knows he's not going back to St. Louis.
In order for Vegas to make this happen, they got to get rid of Fleury. They need to move Fleury.
Yes, they do. Who's looking for a goalie right now? Still.
Well, they're saying now the Devils are looking for a goalie, and there's a.
Oh yeah, they got rid of Schneider. They waived him, or he was an unrestricted free agent. I don't know, but okay. So it's interesting, man. The pot is still being stirred at this point. So it's we don't know.
I'm hoping at some point throughout this show we're gonna break that news. So let's get to some of the comments from our viewers. I completely forgot these were coming through. So Tank, this is our president of All Everything Entertainment. Welcomes you to the show tonight. I think we answered his question when he said, "Who's the best free agent available?" At this point,
Pietrangelo. I think he's always been the best. Hey, you know what? By the way, hi Tank, awesome stuff, man, and I love the name. What about Taylor Hall? What's going on with Taylor Hall?
So there was rumors that, well, it wasn't a rumor. This actually happened. Boston pushed their press conference. It was supposed to happen this afternoon, and they delayed it unexpectedly. Supposedly, they are very close to signing Taylor Hall.
Oh my goodness!
I don't want to see that.
This isn't all everything hockey, and we're trying to talk about the teams. I've stated before, I'm a huge Leafs fan. Boston, any Boston viewers, the rivalry that we've kind of got in the last, since really 2013. You've had our number. Goodness gracious, if you guys get Taylor Hall, if Boston gets Taylor Hall, Man, that's a scary thought, man. I know that Taylor Hall is coming off a little bit of a declining campaign, but he was also playing. Where was he, in Arizona?
He was in Jersey.
Jersey.
Well,
Jersey.
he played in Arizona recently. That was his last team. But before that
was his last one.
Yeah.
And
he had a 93-point season in Jersey. I mean, Taylor Hall can be lights out.
Yes, he can. Who knows, man? If Boston picks up Taylor Hall, you're talking about Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak, and Taylor Hall.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see that.
I really don't want to see it either. But that being said, where's Zdeno Chara fit in? And Torrey Krug is now gone. So the big tough the Boston defenseman, they got to fill some spots, man. I don't know what they're going to do unless they have guys in the pipeline that are ready to come up and they've drafted defense that I don't know anything about. Then we'll see. But Taylor Hall will fall wherever he wants to go. That's for sure. Any team is wanting an MVP of the league for sure. And so
the Bruins have the money. They've got $13 million left, and they've got to sign DeBrusk still, which is going to get a nice payday. But $13 million is a lot of money. They can make a lot of this happen. So I just hope they don't go after Pietrangelo, because that'll destroy me. I hope he doesn't want to go to Boston as an Ontario boy. It's just no. It's a big no.
Man! Wow!
Wow!
That's a very, very interesting. Let's just hold our breath a little bit on that one. My goodness.
Daniel Bakley says, what if you go 2 goalies with Jack Campbell and you bring in Marc-Andre Fleury in Toronto? I don't know. I don't know if Fleury would be an upgrade for Anderson, really.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Fleury, man, he's been his goalie position has been taken over in the last few years. I mean, he was only like 31 or something when Matt Murray came in and stole his job, I think, and the guy's won Stanley Cups and everything. I understand that, and he's a good goalie. But when you're having guys keep on taking your jobs, there's something weird and odd about that. And I honestly haven't been following Marc-Andre Fleury's career a lot recently, just because he hasn't been playing a lot recently. And does he still have it? I don't know. How old is he now? 34, 35?
He is 35.
$7
million. That's a big price tag.
Yes. No. Okay. So yeah, he comes in at 7. Then there's no way, man. I mean, it's a good look just because he is a Stanley Cup winning goalie, and he's a good Canadian boy. But at the end of the day, a $7 million goalie for 5. I think Freddie's at 5, right? So it just doesn't really make sense for the Leafs right now. That's just going to put us through the roof in cap situations. And how many more years does Fleury have left anyway? Does he have a couple of years?
He's in his last. No, sorry. He's got 2021 and 21-22.
So yeah, 2 more years left.
So the rumor was that the NHL teams have made it clear they've pretty much got Vegas in handcuffs. They basically said anybody who wants to take Fleury is going to also want a first or second round pick plus 33% salary retained by Vegas. That's a big kick in the shin.
So that being said, I don't think Fleury's going anywhere, man, because who in the right mind is going to take on that contract for a goalie that's 35 years old? And no, man, I can't see it happening. We've had the Anderson conversation, I think, with a better decor, and hopefully Dubas isn't done yet. If he was done, I'd give him a mediocre. I'd give him the upgrade on the mediocre for sure. I'd say that, he's above average of, there's a line here. I think he went just above there, which is in the positive direction of things for the Leafs. But I still think you want to be a Stanley Cup contender. Your window's starting to slowly close. It's not closing too quickly or anything. We still have like 5 years signed with our stars and everyone together here. But, man, we got to make a run. I want to make a run now. And it's any Leaf fan wants to make a run, and they're tired of it. And we're also tired of being out-muscled and manhandled. We need a bigger guy. We need Pietrangelo. or at least another a hard to play against defenseman, a stay-at-home guy that's gonna kind of make you think twice about going into the corner. That's all I want, man. I don't want guys going around and thinking they can just go grab a puck on our defense the way that it's been going the last few years, unless Muzzin's in the corner. So
100%.
we'll see how it goes, man. It's been a very interesting free agency, and it's definitely been one of the most active and interesting ones. So it's exciting for the league, and I'm sure that a lot of fans are excited all over the NHL right now.
100%.
Yeah,
David, thank you. Thanks for loving the show. We love having people here commenting all the time. Daniel, I'm sorry, I'm just looking through all your comments. A lot of them are not going to make sense to post right now because as we were talking, you were writing. Unfortunately, I wasn't seeing these before, and now they are all here. So I'm going to go through some of these that make a little more sense. So Torrey Krug, yeah, we talked about that. He mentions here Malcolm Subban spent the season with Chicago. The coach likes him there. Also might be a reason why he ended up over there.
Okay.
He also commented Vegas also had Fleury and Demko that year when Subban stepped in. So they had 3 goalies that kind of rotated all 3, and they all did pretty good because look at what Demko did this year, right?
Yeah, and you know what, Archie? I'm pretty sure that there was at one point in that 2017 regular season where Malcolm Subban actually went down as well, and they were on their 4th goalie. Like, it was just crazy what was happening to their goalies, man. But just to touch on that was Daniel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just to touch on that, Malcolm Subban, maybe the management and the coaching staff of Chicago see something in the kid. Obviously, he's NHL quality, and maybe they just want to give him a shot here. He signed a pretty decent, for his caliber of player, a pretty decent deal, I gotta say. And I guess that's just rolling the dice and seeing what happens with this upcoming year.
So Tank, our president, he's a huge Hawks fan. He lives in Chicago, huge Blackhawks fan. So this was his comment from the page saying we suck. And then after you started talking about the Hawks, he added, okay, Wade is making me excited about the future of the organization. So you've restored a little bit of faith in him with your positivity towards the Chicago Blackhawks there.
Well, you know what? They've done a great job with the transitional period of, their old stars, and their management's done just a crazy and exciting and fantastic job of picking up these first round picks, man, like a Nylander and Dylan Strome, and they got to Brinkat there. Like I was saying, they got another guy on defense there I like too. I forget his name now, but their organization is gonna. Their organization is going to be okay, and you know what they always say: as long as you can make it to the Stanley Cup playoffs, anything can happen at any time, man. So look at St. Louis. Started out the season, they were last place in the league by Christmas, and then won a Stanley Cup. So the NHL is a weird sport because I think with the NHL is the only sport that team really matters, and there's no individual superstars that are really going to change a team. And you can already tell that by the way that McDavid's been in Edmonton. You need to build a team, and that's the way it's going to go. So anyone that has decent players, even at best decent players that just play hard, anything can happen. Anything can happen, man. It's all a mindset. It's all it's the drive. It's the it factor. And any team, any year that makes playoffs can do damage and win a Stanley Cup. So that's an exciting thing. So
absolutely. And then someone mentioned here, are St. Louis up against the cap, or can they sign both guys? Absolutely not. They cannot sign both guys. That money they just spent on Krug was the money they had reserved for Pietrangelo. They are at 0 cap space right now, and they've got a few moves they're going to probably have to make with some of their lower income players to get to that cap ceiling to make sure that they're not above. But he is definitely not going to be a St. Louis Blue. It would be crazy if literally what they do is this, where he ends up in Boston. Like, it'd be nuts.
What? Oh my God, that kind of just gives me a bit of a mind boggle thinking about that one, man. I would be truly disappointed in that, man, as a Leaf fan. For the league and the history of the NHL free agency, it would go down as one of the oddest and biggest gambles and biggest trades and pickups ever in the history of NHL. You're talking about the number one guys just crisscrossing to go back and forth. When's the last time you've seen something like that happen, man?
It happened 2 years ago, and I can't remember who it was, but it was literally a crisscross. Like, one went one way, one went the other, and it wasn't a trade, which is nuts.
I remember something with the management. Wasn't it Montreal and Boston? The head coaches did that like a couple years ago, like Claude Julien and stuff, and they went and they both took over. The weirdest thing, man. Like, oh, we need a change for our whole team and our coaching staff. Boom, they just went, okay, we'll take Montreal's coach. You take Boston's coach. Oh, so some weird transitional stuff going on, but nonetheless, it's very exciting.
So we've got Daniel. He's kind of our behind the scenes guy. He's really working the Twitter right now, trying to see what's going on. He had originally reported this, which blew my mind. Taylor Hall, Islanders, 3 years, $15 million. But then, never mind, false alarm. He's talking to New York, not official. That would be huge for the Islanders if Lou pulled that off.
My goodness, man. Lou is a mastermind, except for maybe the Zaitsev trade that he made, or the Zaitsev signing he did for the Leafs for that $7 million. I mean, he's actually done some really good work in the NHL throughout his career. Taylor Hall going to the Islanders would be scary because I feel like he would fit into a team like that. Because they're just a hard-playing team, and the Islanders are just on the cusp of going further as well. They've been there, and they're a hard team to play against. They got Barzal there. I know that he's a restricted free agent, but there's no way after Tavares leaving to come here that they would not re-sign Barzal. Barzal's quietly one of the better superstars in the league in the last couple of years. But yeah, I mean, Taylor Hall's still on the table, and Pietrangelo are still on the table. So, man, the excitement builds, and I mean, it's suspenseful, but it's good suspenseful. It's NHL. We're not going to get a lot of NHL talk, Archie, for a while anyway, unless we get the odd trade or a pickup here and there. But hopefully, the season starts in December there, like they anticipated, or January. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. It's a big day, and hopefully Pietrangelo and Hall are in their new homes in the next couple minutes.
So you're gonna love this, especially because you specifically mentioned his ties to Scarborough. I'm gonna share a video right now of our buddy and recently acquired Wayne Simmonds. So again, hopefully we don't get slapped on the wrist for using this video. Please, I'm not making any money on this video. This is strictly for advertising purposes of our newly acquired Toronto Maple Leaf. So this is what Wayne Simmonds has to say of his coming to Toronto.
What does it mean to you to have the chance to give back to your roots because you talked about it so much?
Yeah, I just think obviously that's another part, a piece of the puzzle. Like I said, I have deep roots in Toronto. So I think for me, this was the area that cultivated me, helped me be the person I am. I think especially Scarborough, being born and raised there, that, I know we've spoke before, and how I mentioned to you that my mom always made me make a promise, and, I kept that promise to her that I would always give back to the community that helped raise me. So obviously, in my mind, there's nothing different here. The last couple of years, I actually haven't been able to do the Wayne's Road Hockey Warriors because of the birth of my daughter, and then the summer before getting married, and obviously this summer with the COVID. So it's been unfortunate, but I definitely will be looking, to get into something, whether it's a ball hockey tournament or, other, endeavors. I definitely like to do more with the community within, Scarborough and the Toronto area. I think that's extremely important to me, and something that I always look forward to doing.
Crazy.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Family guy, married, he has a heartbeat of the team kind of player. I heard in other interviews, I think he's done like 20 of them today. He's probably getting ambushed like crazy right now. But I've heard him say, if something goes wrong on the ice, I'll be the first one to step in and stand up for my teammates. That's just the person and player I am. Man, what an attribute, what an asset, what a different quality and skill set that he brings to the team, man, and Wayne Simmonds. So I like it, Archie. It's nice. It's nice to hear him say things like that. Leaf fans don't just need a goon, and they need a guy that can play hockey as well, and be a dressing room guy and put the points in, but also stick up for the boys, because obviously we haven't really had a player like that other than Clifford we brought in, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited. It's a very good move, and he's a spectacular person, man. So from what I hear from other people, and it's very good, very good.
And another defenseman that remains unsigned. Some might call it big. I personally don't, because I've seen no reason to refer to him as a top free agent, but Tyson Barrie still remains unsigned. No surprise there after the last 2 seasons that guy's had. Comes to Toronto from Colorado, hoping the change of scenery would work. That trade definitely bit Toronto hard, because I'm not sure what to take from that trade as a positive, especially after the playoff run that Nazem Kadri had for Colorado this year.
I'll spider web on this one for you. I think, he's not signed yet. I don't know what Tyson Barrie's going to do, because I feel like he wants to maybe, what team wouldn't want to maybe give him a 1 year and just see if he still has what he had in Colorado, and try to just sign him and see, because he is a good puck moving defenseman. He's 29. He's had great seasons before. So that being said, I think coming to Toronto was weird for him, because he was the power play guy. He was the guy that they passed the puck to on the point, playing with McKinnon and Rantanen and Landeskog, and he came here, and Morgan Riley kind of was already here for that purpose. And not to mention, his style of game was very up and down. He was a very north and south offensive guy, and Babcock really didn't want him to play like that. So we tried to switch up his game, just like Babcock tried to do that to a lot of the Leafs players, which was why essentially he was moved out, because of his stubbornness and not being able to adapt to certain things, especially how a player has already had success. Tyson Barrie had it weird. Tyson Barrie had it really weird, man. So I think that he's worth a shot for a team. I don't know what you sign him at for 1 year, though. Maybe a 4 for 1 year, just to see what he's got. 4 or 5, I don't know. But interesting that he's still there. I had a feeling he was going to be there for a while, because a team needs to make the right move on him, because it is going to be a gamble, depending on how he comes in. But nonetheless, you know what? He's an NHL defenseman, and I would give him still a top 4 spot. He may be a 3rd or 4th on the top 4, but still a good player.
There you go, Boston. There's your answer. Take Tyson Barrie, give him whatever you want. Leave Pietrangelo alone. He is not fit for a Boston Bruins team. Your answer's right there. Tyson Barrie.
And I'm pretty sure Tyson Barrie and Torrey Krug are around the same size and everything too. So it wouldn't be like losing Torrey Krug at all.
Yeah, there you go. So that'd be interesting. Daniel's chasing. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to see if it's confirmed, but Flyers trading a 6th rounder for Zach Ronaldo. I'm trying to see if this is confirmed at all, because that's
Flyers traded for Zach Ronaldo. Like
6th round pick.
I thought that Zach Ronaldo was on the Flyers. Am I mistaken? Who is Zach Ronaldo on?
Zach Ronaldo is currently on Calgary.
Oh, wow. Yeah, obviously he hasn't got a lot of play time, man, because I haven't really heard of Zach Ronaldo. I know that he's been doing his thing with like medical marijuana and everything and things like that, but um
I'm a little confused by this because I didn't even know Zach Ronaldo was playing in the NHL right now.
well, that's what I'm saying. I haven't really noticed or heard his name in a while. I know that he was doing like medicinal marijuana things and talking about CBD oil and stuff like that. And
he was playing. He was playing for the Stockton Heat in the AHL last season. He played for Calgary 19 games and then got sent down.
okay, so that makes sense. And who picked him up? Philly?
Well, I don't see anything confirmed yet, but he's chasing a rumor of Philly for a 6th-round pick. It may be right. Daniel is a Philly fan. He's a Flyers fan. So he's probably chasing them real hard and trying to find some information there because Philly sucks and they haven't done anything. So he's probably trying to hope that they make some sort of move.
Yeah. And you know what? It could, you know what I was just saying about the medicinal marijuana, it could have, is it Zach Ronaldo that does it? It might be someone else, or one of the other tougher guys in the league that I'm thinking about. Anyways, away from that, that's definitely a weird, definitely weird, man. I mean, a 6th round, so there must be some cap space stuff going on there, and they're just trying to clear it. If you're Calgary,
Mm-hmm.
that's all that trade makes sense to me about. So I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's
Carcillo, Archie, isn't it Carcillo? It's either Ronaldo or Carcillo.
I was just trying to look it up. I think it's Carcillo that you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyways, it's not even our big topic or anything, but
yeah, no, it was definitely Carcillo because he was tying it to his mental health treatment and whatnot.
There you go. Yeah. So Ronaldo or Carcillo is one of the tougher guys, but yeah. Okay.
And now I'm also seeing keep an eye on Columbus. They may be in the mix for Pietrangelo. I don't think they're going to Columbus though.
So you need Seth Jones there and friggin' Pietrangelo. Like, oh my goodness, I don't know. I mean, that would be a hell of a top two. I mean, Columbus is. I heard talks that Hall they were gonna try to ask Hall to go to friggin' Columbus too. I heard weird rumors about that, but
Columbus, they've got 14 million, but they also got to still pay Pierre-Luc Dubois, who clearly earned his pay raise. So
great player, man. What a series against the Leafs that he had, man. Every time he came over the blue line, he had me shook, man. I was like, this guy's got I know this guy played for the junior team at one point, and I've heard his name, but I didn't know he had that skill set. And he's a big guy too.
Yeah,
he's like what 6'2" or 6'3", and frig, he came down the ice. I was like, I could hear the truck coming down, man. So, we'll see. I mean, Columbus has a few things to do, and Columbus has been through the runs too, man. They had they had a good run there a couple of years ago as well, and then all of a sudden you lose Bobrovsky, and then you lose Panarin, and then you're thinking, oh, this team isn't, this team's not going to be as good. You just lost a lot of talent, and then boom, they bounce right back. Tortorella gets the troops together and rounds them up. And Columbus is still a scary team. They're still a really good team. They traded for Max Domi. Max is I think Max brings a specific skill set to that team. He's a tough kid, and he can maybe throw in 60 point, 70 at max, no pun intended, or whatever there, but 70 at max there for him. And we'll see what happens with Max Domi, man. But Columbus is a good team. They're heavy. They got Dubinsky on the IR. We haven't really seen him for a long time. But, they got a good cast around there. They're a heavy playing team, and a Tortorella team always seems to play really well, because I feel like if they don't, Torts has no problem sitting their butts in the bleachers, that's for sure. So,
yep. In response to me saying the Flyers have nothing because they suck, he says we got Carter Hart. That's all that matters. Carter Hart is definitely a big part of that team.
Oh, yeah, you're lucky. Finally, man, if you want to get just a little into that, man, finally Philly got a goalie. And you know what? I've never had a problem with Philly either. I always thought Philly was a very cool team going back to the exciting times in like 2010 with like the Daniel Brières and Giroux when he was young. I don't know if Wayne Simmons was there yet, but I think they even had Mike Richards there or Brad Richards. Sorry, they had a couple like cool. They had a cool team there, and they were making runs. But they switched. They made that big trade back in the day, man, with LA, right? They sent over Mike Richards and Jeff Carter to LA. Remember? And Philly had Jeff Carter and Mike Richards on their team. With Briere, with Giroux,
Yep, that was the 2010-2011 Flyers. Yeah,
yes, man, they were a cool looking. I think even Pronger was still playing on defense then, man.
Yep, Pronger. They had Hartnell, JVR.
What a team! What a team! I'm surprised they didn't go further with that year, man. But
Versteeg, Carcillo, Bobrovsky. They had a crazy stacked team, man.
And who let them down? The goalie situation let them down. Bobrovsky, I remember, man. Bobrovsky they built him up. They gave him a good contract and everything. They inflated his tires, and he was supposed to be all this and that, and boom, like just what a tire fire that one was too with Brizgalov. That's his name, right?
No, this was Bobrovsky. Oh yeah, the other goalie was Brizgalov, but Bobrovsky was the one in Philly.
Okay. Yeah, that's what are you gonna do, man? That's very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff.
Daniel also adds, so Carter went to Columbus for Jakub Voracek and an 8th overall pick, which ended up being Couturier.
Okay, so they got some good stuff back, that's for sure. Couturier is a good first, second line center. And Voracek is Voracek. I mean, he's the ginger beard. He's the big passer, man. He's the Backstrom of the Philly Flyers. I like Voracek a lot. I thought he was a lot older, actually. I thought he was like 34, 35. It turns out he's actually only like 30 or something. So that was kind of interesting. Voracek. I always thought he was older because he always has the grizzly beard and the longer hair. And I always thought, like, okay, this guy looks older, but I think he's only like 30.
He's making $8.25 million through to the end of 23-24.
Oh my goodness, what a contract. Good for him. Wow. Hats off to the agent there, man. The guy's an assist machine. I mean, he gets like 20 goals a season, but he gets like 55 assists every year. Good fantasy guy.
So I was hoping we'd have some more to break, but it looks like Pietrangelo as of right now is still, he's not a Blue. He's definitely not a Blue. He is still unemployed at the moment, but I'm sure that will not last long. I'm sure he will land somewhere. I'm going to chase this all weekend, being Thanksgiving. I would love to give thanks if they make this move to land Pietrangelo in Toronto, and Kyle Dubas is going to go right up, skyrocket with that bar.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see. I think there's still some stuff to come, and I'm being hopeful when I say that. Obviously, we as Leafs Nation, we would like to see at least another top 4 guy come into the lineup. But I am glad that we have addressed a few of the defensive and toughness problems today. I like the Wayne Simmons signing. I like the TJ Brody signing. So we are in a positive direction, and Dubas has done a decent job today. He'll do a spectacular, amazing job if he were to sign Pietrangelo. I mean, you'll hear Toronto fans cheering in the streets if you hear that one go out. But We'll see what happens. Anyways, Archie, I got to go.
Yep. Before we sign off, just going to let everybody know if you're looking to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, social media channels, whatever it is, just a quick little promo video for you to catch. So there you have it. Wade, thank you once again for joining me on this crazy NHL free agent frenzy. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Archie, and to all the fans and hockey fans out there, everyone watching the show right now, and beyond that, no, it was my pleasure, man. It was great to talk hockey. It's one of my favorite things to do, and yours as well. That's why we're doing it. I hope that you got some kind of insight. Thanks for having me, Archie, and all Everything Entertainment. And I'm signing off, so have a good night. Hopefully there's some more stuff to come that's exciting, and for your NHL team, and I'll fare you a good night there. Take care, guys. Bye, Archie. Thank you.
Take it easy. See ya. All right, guys. So that wraps things up for the night. What a show. What a night. Lots of stuff going on in hockey today. I'm going to follow some more this weekend. Be sure to check out our website for some more breaking stories as they happen. If any other trades happen, I will definitely do my best to report them as they do. So yeah, as always, thanks again for following. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next week.